Okay, I'm here and I'm doing a sketching of baby Tigger for my grandson. And I did prompt the camera a little better so you could actually see what I'm doing. I got my paints out and I'm ready. Today's gonna be a good, happy day for us all. I hope. You could always hope because sometimes something crazy is happening in the days that come. But I'm here for the readings or whatever you need. It's going to be a happy day. I like to start out every day saying it's going to be happy because why be negative? It is Monday, yes, but you start out your day negative, it stays negative all day. I got some happy comments from TikTok. They're funny. I do. I like to support the TikTokers over there. I think they're nice. And now you could actually see what I'm doing from here, which is nice. And it's kind of weird because this camera does opposites. Like my hair is actually here, but it flips it there. So I like how the it's interesting how things like that roll on in life. But here's baby Tiger, and I'm going. Oh hi, how you doing? How's your day going? I'm going over. I'm over here doing some stress sketching because I think the saddest day of my life is when all this inheritance money is going to come through. Whenever you get a little bit of money, everybody in the damn world wants to be your friend. And you remember all the bad things they done and said about you when you didn't have money. And the thing is I told my husband I'm going to be sad when I get the money because I'm going to know that my dad's not here no more. So I don't know. People are funny. And then we were talking about all of our friends. Oh, I'm good. I'm very good. I'm always good. I try to keep a happy face. I try to keep happy vibes going because, life is too short for doing things you regret. This is how I live and this is my motto and people think I'm crazy, but you know what? It is what it is. And the thing is why should why give in to suffering? What is suffering except for just letting yourself hate and let all those emotions come in where they don't need to be? Because they absolutely don't. Just like my oldest son, he wants to invest in these B&Bs, and he never once said he's sad that his grandpa died. Not once. I did say I would help him out because he has a baby on the way and stuff. But my youngest son, I did offer him some money, and he told me he didn't expect any money, and he's the one that needs it the most. So I'll probably help him out more. But in life, I feel that these things happen to test us, to test our humanity and the way we approach things. I mean, you could say all day long you're a good Christian or you're a good person, but the thing is, well, I guess it's what you do every day that really counts. And a lot of people don't really bring into account of that. They want everyone to feel sorry for them all the time. I just found a way to survive. Honestly, I've been working on shitty computers for 2 years around here. And this other computer I have doesn't support Windows 11. But you know what? I got Microsoft 365 Office, which I promote it, especially if you have computers that aren't so good. because I've had a computer, and I'm not gonna lie, for 12 years. And everybody, including my sons, told me it was insane that I keep these computers going. But you know what? This Microsoft program does a damn good job, and it updates it, and it's only $9 a month. And how much are these computers over here? They're like $600 to $1,000 for some of these new computers. I will use the laptop I got that I bid it on Amazon for $130 until it dies. This is what I do. And that's just how it is, because I feel, why get rid of something that works? Because you're blessed to have it. How many people don't have computers? How many people got to live outside? How many people are in abusive situations? I mean, you got to look at the bigger picture sometimes. So even if when I do get all this money, I'm still going to be working on all these computers, because this is a damn good live streaming computer. I'm not saying I could do a lot of my writing on it. I might buy a third computer just for like my writing and different things. And honestly, that's fine, because I feel that that's not bad. Right now, for my painting, I do sketch painting. With sketch painting, it's more intimate in your details. And you kind of, what I do is I just practice. I practice sketching from some famous artists that I took care of in their last days on earth. And they passed on good knowledge to me. And I've taken everything that they taught me, and when you're dying and you have a love for art, you love to teach. So they have taught me how to sketch. And that's what I'm doing. Just a simple sketching. As I'm going along, I'm shading a little. I find it better to shade a little, and then when I do get the paint on here, I do it very limited. Just real small amounts. Just enough to enhance, because I do pastels, because I was given the option, and the higher ups of the light realm or whatever, karma, brought me to a very good sketch artist that worked with pastels, and she told me you don't need paints with that kind of drawing. And she was excellent at what she did. She had a store. She sold her paintings for a lot of money, from what I hear, and they still get that store going. And R.I.P. Sharon. But in her last days, when she couldn't get out of her bed, she taught me everything she knew. So far, I got this. But you do the outline. I was taught when I was taking care of them. And then I had to literally practice. And a lot of my practice time was here. I have all of my practice time. That's why some of them are kind of shitty. And I will admit to that. A lot of them, like, I think are shitty compared to what I could do now. But you know what? These are all a progression of what you can and can't do. And I do this because I'm high functional autistic. And it took me about a year of sketching and practicing. But I got it. And I guarantee you guys can get it also. Or just encourage your kids and just say, sketch, but sometimes painting, if you already kind of details in your mind, could be kind of hard. See, I'm just constructing his tail now. I'm trying to do this way so you guys can kind of see. Yeah, you can ask a question. I decided that when I'm doing the tarot card reading, sometimes it's easier to do sketching because I can always stop and do a reading. Because sketching is always something that you can put down and your hands aren't all messy. laugh out loud. I have a mess life with all of my little stuff, but I got my little rag when I get to the point where I'm doing pastel, so I'm okay with that. But put on your question, my friend P. I'm glad that you support me because honestly, I never thought I would get this far, and this is true facts because they say on YouTube it takes years sometimes. And I was okay with just connecting with some people and trying to spread happiness because to me, I guess especially being autistic, I think of everything in a different way. Do you see Mark getting back to me regarding the message I sent him? It seems like he is ignoring me. He just might be. But men do ignore people. Or they're thinking. I've had that happen to me. Sometimes men, I've had that happen to me where I said, "What are you ignoring me?" And they go, like, "No, I was busy and I was thinking about what I wanted to say next." And it was like 2 days later sometimes. I was like, well, while you were deciding what you were going to say next, I just thought that you hated me, so I just moved on. And it was my day. So it could be either option. And I'm just telling you this from personal experience. Because especially if you ask somebody for help or something and they don't get back to you forever, it's generally because they're thinking about it. Oh yeah, because I need to get my carpet fixed in my apartment before I move out of here. And I was gonna pay people for this because I will have a lot of money in the bank, but they don't get back to me for days, and I'm like, "Do you even want the job?" And they're like, "Oh, I was thinking about it. I was thinking about my work schedule." And I'm like, "Oh my god, they think a lot." Overthinkers will perceive themselves as they're ignoring you. I ignore people sometimes and think about what I'm going to do or say next. I do that too, so I'm guilty of it. That's how I kind of know firsthand, and I don't take it personally. But your whole situation with Mark, is it Mark? Yeah, Mark, is in a wax crescent moon. And this is just about, it's a faith card and having faith in the things that you envision type thing, which is positive. It's very positive. It's not a bad energy to be in with a relationship. And then you guys are surrounded by a new moon in Virgo. And this always talks about one person's giving more than they're taking. And I feel this is more Mark than you. He's kind of being selfish. I'm picking up selfishness. So, which, you know what? We all could be selfish. As humans, we have our good side, and there's always our bad side also. That with the good comes the bad, it's kind of what it is. And then you guys are surrounded by a new moon Aquarius, and this talks about bringing love into your whole energy. I feel he's holding back, and he's not scared, but he doesn't fully trust you. I feel that this is all about trust. So, I mean, that's how it is sometimes. It's hard to trust people in the world. I don't know if this is a bad or good thing. Maybe just, I just feel it's just a trust issue. And it might not be you, it might just be other people that he feels this way about. Oh, hey, how are you, Mac Shings? I'm good. I am very good. I'm stress painting over here. I'm doing all kinds of things. This is what I do. All right, this is Jay. Is Jay going to stop putting effort in relationship or stop giving me the blessing I deserve? I keep dating him, or should I be on my own? Like two. I can do an energy reading on you and this Jay, but honestly, I just out of my personal experience, I just say, if he wants to go out to eat, just say, I don't feel like if you feel like the intimacy is not where it should be, I would just say we could go out to eat and all that, but we're not going to be having sex. I would just stop the sex if it was me. And I would say we could be friends, but until and I would say friends with no sex. And I would say I don't know what your feelings are. So, Marissa, I would. I mean, if once you stop the sex and let them come with the whatever's going to go with the relationship, that's when you find out if they're real. Because once the sex is gone, they're either going to stop talking to you or they're going to try to repair it. But this generally is a deal breaker because if they're around just for sex and they don't want to put the effort in, they're either going to keep talking to you or stop altogether. So this is like a double-edged sword when you do this move in a relationship. I will tell you that much. But you and this Jay are in a new moon of Cancer. And this just means that the relationship is safe. But safe doesn't mean love. Safe just means he's not malicious, but it's not like a romantic type thing. It's he respects you, but that's usually what a new moon of Cancer means with when you're doing this kind of reading. And then your guys are surrounded by a full moon eclipse and a south node. The full moon eclipse talks about conclusions, answers that are coming to surface. So very soon you will have your answers. I do know that. And then your guys are surrounded by a south node. And this is just talking about past holding you back. It could be your guys' past of you and Jay holding you back from something else. But I would just nicely just tell Jay that you're looking for enlightenment and you want a real relationship and you'll be friends with him but no more sex. And see where that goes and then if he stops talking to you, you know that it was just sexual. So that's definitely how I would go about that. And I wouldn't say stop seeing him because you should never just stop. I mean, he might need you in the future. You might need a friend. But by that time, you might have another person. And if he can't, and then he'll know that it was regret, but you got to forgive him. I will tell you that. Forgive this Jay. Support him when he needs support to a certain limit. And tell him that you want to start off fresh and that's it. And you could start out fresh with the same person. Just say, I want to start out fresh with you and just no more sex or anything. And we'll just do casual dating and see how that goes. But that's my suggestion of that one. So, because sometimes people don't want the commitment. And no matter who they meet at that time, they will have sex with them and they will pretend that they care about them, but they really don't. And that's how life could be cruel at times. So, but you know what? I've done this several times in my life. Some people I didn't speak to again, and some people I have. Some people it took 5 years, and they're like, "Damn, I miss you," and I'm like, "That's good. I have a boyfriend now. But if they need something, I tell them I'll help them, but a lot of times they won't take the help because then they feel bad because they want an easy way back in. Life isn't easy. You give and you take, and that's it. Life is all about a balance, and if somebody's not doing the balance of what you need, you forgive them, get your balance, and move on in your life. I've done that several times. I'm doing that now with this whole thing with my dad dying. So I got to reestablish who's real and who's not real. I got everybody with these investments talking to me about invest in this, invest in that. I'm not investing in all this stuff. If I do, it's gonna be between me and my husband, not me and my son, and this and that, or our friends that are estranged. Don't pretend you're my friend when you didn't talk to me for years like that, and you want to be to that level. No, I mean that's all I can say about that subject. You gotta give yourself self respect because you're more than just a sex doll. I mean, people are people, and sex is an agreement, and it's an intimate contract. And if people are not going to be nice, you can't give it out because they just look at it as, I'm looking at porn and this all day, and I can go over here, have sex with this one, and I'll be okay. And it's not okay. There's nothing okay about it. Unless that's what you want. Some people like that. But that's where the agreement comes in. You got to your agreement with this J might not be exactly what you wanted. So you got to tell them that. Be like, I didn't really, I don't feel comfortable in this kind of relationship. Because if you do things that you're not comfortable with and you don't have a good base on anything, that's what happens. And people get confused because there really is nothing wrong with relationships like that because some people are freaky. You know what? There's nothing wrong with it. But it's an agreement these guys have. Because I've done a lot of research and pretty much I had to do sex research, and I know it's crazy. I'm 51 years old doing sex research. But I've done sex research on the different type of relationships because I'm a writer. And I'm getting ready to have my book published and different things here. So I had to I haven't been in the dating scene for like 12 years now. And it's changed. And I will tell you that aspect as a writer because I got to write the scenes a little different because love has changed and the way people actually interact with each other, that has changed too. Everything has changed in the aspect of love. And this is why I have such an abstract view of it because I've been studying it. And this is what I do. I study people. I study everything and why they do it and their intentions. And there's nothing wrong with studying people. To study people is a good practice. And you should. You absolutely should study them. See, now he's going down with his foot. These are kind of hard sometimes. All right, you know what? I'm going to just outline this part because this foot is going to give me problems over here. Especially when you got to do this different kind of angling. And then I'm going to shade this a little sideways. And I always tell you guys when I do these, shading is the most important thing you can do in art. Shading gives dimension. Shading gives everything. It really does. Shading is the best. But we're just going to deal with that back feet later. I'm going to get this I'm going to go from here to here because I'm not going to be able to have the foot in the right position. I'm just not. So I'm going to go ahead and just get this here. Get this arm right here done. Sometimes you just kind of got to pick your battles with your sketch. You really do. Because when you are done shading and everything with your sketch, it has to look good. And it has to look like they're looking at you. Just like, oh my god, where did I have it? Let me get my poo sketch. I did him doing a selfie. Okay. I know I put it somewhere. Okay, here it is. Alright. I call this expression. Oh, you're welcome. Expressionism. That's Winnie the Pooh taking a selfie. This took 2 hours from the sketching, moving on everyone else. People don't want to take responsibility and commitment. I hate this thing. Oh, yes, they don't. Oh, oh, thank you. Yeah, I do a lot of this kind of stuff. I made this for my grandson, and my son said he wanted traditional Pooh. And I do have traditional Winnie the Pooh, but I like to do the expressional ones. I think they're more fun. But yeah, I'm not. There's nothing wrong with this kind of activity because some people, even in my days, they were kinky. They had sex clubs back in my days, especially in Texas. Oh my God, Texas is. They have a lot of fetishes over in Texas. Don't doubt these cowboys. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, I mean, people will have fetishes, and it is absolutely okay for them to have. It's. I'm trying to draw to keep it going. This took me a year to do this, a year, and I still cannot paint without sketching. Still cannot. I do the pastels. When I get done with this, I'm gonna pastel to Tigger, and then and then I just paint it on the edge, and this is all pastels. And you can only do this kind of style painting if you sketch. You cannot do this style of painting if you are not a sketch artist. And honestly, I feel that I think the paintings turn out better that way. But that's just me. It totally is just me. I'm not telling anybody what to do with their life or anything about this because it is what it is. But sometimes when I'm doing a sketch, oh hey, how you doing, Kanta? But there's nothing wrong with being a sketch artist, nothing at all. I know that Bob Ross and all these guys, they're great. Don't get me wrong, I grew up with Bob Ross. I love my Bob Ross, but will I ever be a Bob Ross? Probably not. But you know what? That's life. You're not gonna no one's gonna be a Picasso or any of the greats. They died and that they made their mark. This is how people make their mark. They do something significant that they did, and then years from now, everybody's going, "Oh my God, this guy was great, and this lady was great." But this is how we make our mark in the world. So don't feel bad if you literally, for some reason, just can't do it. I don't feel bad. I'm not a traditional painter. Do I care? No. Do I respect other painters? Hell yeah. Because OMG, is it hard? Alright, I'm just going to do a little line here and this way just to show it's that. And then I'm going to bring his belly up. So I want to get all of these little lines in here done. And you guys are going to laugh. I got this Bible. And before I live streamed, I guess it's just the karma in me, or the Catholic in me. I always take my Bible and I have her propping up against my computer all the time. So all the time I do this, and I feel it brings me good luck. Just like people hide their money in their Bible. And all you guys out there that's religious, everybody's kind of hip to that. So if you're trying to hide money and your kids are being greedy, don't hide it in the Bible. Just don't. I mean, some people these days don't care. I'm shading this over this way. Wherever you want people to look is the way you shade. So I will tell you that tip. And now I'm going to get these back hind leggies done here. Alright. I am religious, but I don't read the holy text. I pray a lot. I went to Catholic school. I had no choice. I feel like I don't have to read the holy text because I had to study them for 12 years. And I've been over here and I listen to different kinds of live streamers. I guess that makes me a different kind of live streamer because I kind of want to know what makes people tick in the world. I do. Because there's some crazy people in the world. I will tell you that much. They're insane and crazy. And they talk about all these ancient texts, the book of Enoch I was listening to, and is this the original text of Jesus? And my thing is, I'm not against religion. I do believe in God. Even though people think I don't believe in God, I do believe in God. And I do. My mother-in-law is one. She goes, she's fine with me doing tarot card readings, but the minute you say that possibly, maybe all of these Bibles were just constructed by the light to make us nicer and to see higher enlightenment, then you're known as something else. The religious community scorns you. I believe that after years of the holy texts, I believe that no Bible is wrong. I honestly do. I believe they're all right because it's supposed to be parables. And I learned this in Catholic school. And I believe it's probably the same with all religions. They probably have a big holy Bible and all kinds of stories, but they're not literally. That's not their literal meaning. And I learned that in Catholic school. But yet they'll say that Noah's flood, literally the whole world was flooded. When it's impossible, the whole world was flooded. Impossible, I tell you. But then you're called all kinds of names, to the holier thou communities. So I don't know. So honestly, I'm scorned a lot of times, but I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe anything that projects positivity and enlightenment is holy. And it could be anything. It could be just if you're projecting good things, it could be anything. And I do believe this. Some people don't, but I do. And God, you'll have a whole argument with a Muslim over this. Muslims sometimes like me, sometimes they don't. They're stricter than Catholics. And they really are. I don't believe that people that the holier than thou, the light God, said that people had to wear those things on their heads all the time. And no one said that one Bible was the end all. This was just what we put in our heads. And this is what I believe. And only me. Maybe other people believe this. And they have agnostics. But I do believe there's some kind of force out there, and I felt it when I died. I really did. I felt this force when I died. And this force is just, you pretty much judge yourself, and it shows you everything you've ever done when you were alive. And sometimes, I don't really do bad things. I honestly don't. Most of the things I do is I sit there and I'll look at honestly, I look at YouTube videos mostly. I actually have in my bedroom, I have 10 hours of dog TV streaming for my dog. But this is how I live my life. But everything I do is for service, generally for a higher purpose. And God is an energy, a positive energy that having all our answers. Maybe that's where I get half of my answers. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I got to do a healthcare check, a mental health check, and I'd be sitting in my bed, and sometimes, I do see a lot of dead people. I'm not going to lie, I'm like the sixth sense over here, but every once in a while I hear a voice in my head when I'm really depressed, and nobody's here. And I know I don't have schizophrenia. And it just be, and it's just one solemn voice saying you're going to be okay or something. And I feel better. So maybe God is within all of us. But I've called some of my friends sometimes and said, I don't know if I need to go to the local hospital, but I did hear this. And they go, oh, it's probably God. But you got to be real careful when you get enlightenment things, because sometimes it does lead to health issues, and it sometimes is because of health issues, honestly. So that you do kind of have to be careful with. And that's why the Catholic Church, before they do their exorcisms, they are always taking them to the doctor all the time. And that's okay. I'm getting the design of the tail. With the design of the tail, you start out here and you go here, and then it goes a stripe, and then the other side, little spike. You got to find the design. Whatever you do here, and that's why I said that I think sketching is way more intimate, and you put a little paint with it, and you know what? You're not buying hundreds of dollars of paint. I'm using very little paint with this piece. Very, very little. So and paints, it could be expensive. But with this method, pencils are cheap. Poster board is cheap. I use poster board, and people want to buy this stuff from me. And this is all I'm doing is just putting this on poster board, and people will buy it no matter what canvas is on. So if you wanted to make an extra side hustle, this is something you could do. Because you cannot make vape juice no more. I had a vape juice hustle back in the day before it was outlawed where you couldn't get nicotine, and I was so upset. I was trying to order this nicotine. I was looking at Africa and all these different places. I could have actually got it from Africa, but getting it here would have been the problem. So, yeah, you can ask me your question. That's why I'm sketching. I had the tails done. See, I've been on here 39 minutes and I just got the tail done. This is why I say the sketching's tedious, but the paintings come out way, way much better. And they are so much prettier. They really are. So, and then you just work on another area. I'm probably going to start with his back paw here and then start cultivating the face and stuff. You just kind of do little sections at a time. Oh, thank you. But yeah, start out in small sections. Don't try to overdo things. You try to overdo things, you're gonna confuse yourself. Just like I'm getting the stripes kind of where I want them to give them really good definition and a lot of detail. Before I even start putting the paint on the canvas, because I don't know how some of these painters get such good detail without sketching, but they do, and it's hard. I end up having to sketch with pastels when I'm doing actual painting. So I decided instead of just always sketching with the pastels, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm sketching with this. And then, there's a big bubble here. I'm waiting for your question, but I'm trying to get all of this done for my grandson Owen's room because the daughter-in-law likes Winnie the Pooh. And I told my son, the greedy one, that I'm gonna do all the Winnie the Pooh characters. I'm calling him the greedy one at this point. Because when I raised him, I didn't have a lot of money. I worked. I went to medical. I got me a medical job and everything. And I kind of enjoyed the times where it was real and money wasn't involved. That's the thing. When you have like all kinds of money going around, you don't know if it's real or not real, which is sad. But such is life. There we go. And one here. Alright. And now I got the back paw done. Yeah, you just do it sections. Don't try to rush through your sketch. Don't. Because you start rushing through these things, then it becomes a problem. I'm going to start the stripes on the back and start cultivating other spots. But this is kind of how you do. This is the easiest way for me to do this. All right, there's a slight dip right in here. All right, because you got to get this three-dimensional. You have to. All right, right here. I'm just gonna do the back. I'm gonna finish out the back, and then I can do that. Because I have to get it right by here. So let's get this back started with this one stripe. Because I got to shade in the back legs. Because this part of sketching, I want to say, is the hardest. But as long as you practice enough, take your time with each piece, it won't take as long. It takes me about 2 hours because I've been sketching for a year and a half, and all the professional people from my work have had me under art study 101. So, to honor them, I come over here and I always honor them. Always. I honor Sharon and Tom because I would not be here if it wasn't for Sharon and Tom. Because they gave me valuable information that you would only know in art school. So, okay, on this stripe here, there's a line that comes down here. Just slightly. And dips down this way. Alright. So this is how you gotta do this. And then here we're gonna break this up a little. Because you gotta have it to where, because he's kind of where he is positioned. So we're going to shade this real dark right here. And this kind of shows where you're going to start his legs. Oh, yes, flowers. Start with flowers. And roses could be hard, very hard, but and I was told that to start with flowers. And Tom had me making all kinds of flowers. So yes, that is a good advice. And just go real slow with it. Try to get your groove on with it and try to feel the art. But flowers and trees will be your best friend when you're starting out sketching. I did the tree of life, friend. And if you really want to cultivate your sketching skills, make the tree of life. Even if it took me about a week. But and then I painted it a little bit and everything, but sunflowers are nice too, but once you get your little flowers done, start doing trees. Trees will give you a lot of skill with sketching. They will. I mean, it sounds crazy, but they absolutely give you all kinds of mad skills as the trees. So I would suggest trees when you get your flowers down pat. But don't do trees until you got your flowers done. Because these flowers are your basis. I love making roses. I really do. Roses are very intricate. Sunflowers can be. They could be kind of tricky at times too, but just take your time with it. Sunflowers are nice. I do like making sunflowers myself. A lot of people will ask me to make them roses, though. Once you get to be a good sketch artist, all your friends are going to want you to make them roses. So, I had a cat named Tigger. Yeah, me too. I still have his ashes. He came to my front door. I'll tell you the story of Tigger. He came, or we called him Tiger. He came to the front door. He was in our driveway, and then my crazy son, he was drunk, and they seen this kitten come up, and everybody came outside and showed me the cat, and of course, I be loving my animals, so I go out there and I see Tiger. And I was like, I had a couple other cats in my house, and my son's like, "Oh my God, look how cute he is," and everything. He was like 17 at the time. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know, Zach. I don't know. I ended up taking this cat in, and we kept him, we had him about 2 years, and he ended up dying of a tumor. But I swear, I had an older cat, and he thought this was his baby. Tiger was. So and then I had another older cat, and they didn't get along, but they got along enough to put their beef aside for Tiger. So I still have his ashes. I still keep all of his pictures because, all the animals loved him and they grieved his passing. My one cat went in mourning. Almost a cash. Oh, okay. But you're biased. I have I I have a ragdoll Siamese. I was cat sitting, and she ended up being pregnant, And I went ahead and gave her, and then she fell into bad time, so I kept this cat in my thing, and I ended up giving it back to my friend, her cat, and I kept two of the kittens. The one kitten, she looks calico, but she's really super smart, and they're sisters. Then I had the other one, and she looks straight up ragdoll Siamese, straight up. So I, and they are very vocal. Oh, are they vocal? I have them in a room all by themselves when they go to bed and they got their own bedrooms. They absolutely do because they could be something. All right, I'm putting this here because there was a little mark there. All right, you always got to reinforce some of these lines. I li- I kind of, it was so weird. I was against this kind of sketching for the longest time because I liked color, but now I appreciate the pencil. As weird as that sounds, I really do. I appreciate the pencil in its entirety because it has been my best friend. But at the time when I was drawing sunflowers and things like you, I did not like it and I wanted color. But sometimes it's good to sketch these out and then put color. Oh, thank you. This was my stress painting. It really is. I'd be stressed out all the time, and I just started instead of taking anxiety medicine and all this stuff because I was going through a lot. I just decided to take up art, and I just said, F it, and just learn how to be a good artist. And that was it. So, and it did help, and it has helped me, but this is just what I do when I'm stressed out. And I feel so much better when I'm done. So much better. Well, I got this so far. I like to work my way up to the face because the face sometimes gives you problems. I'm gonna shade over here where I want these different to look multi-dimensional. I struggled with multi-dimensional stuff. I really have, and I feel it's some of the hardest sketching to do, especially I did Lucifer and I did Lilith. I gotta really be in the mood and I gotta really focus on faces. Faces are hard and I'm not gonna lie to you. Don't rush into faces because faces are something that are not the easiest at all. So you really don't want to be rushing into things that you're not sure about. All right, I did the outline for his chin over here because to know where to start in the face, you kind of have to have everything down pat over here. Yeah, I know my son keeps bothering me about that. It must be really good. I must have a good speaker on my new computer, but yeah, I told my husband about this. My son actually laugh out loud. He was like, I was calling him the other day, my younger son, and he asked me about the fire alarm and told me how easy it is. Mom, just go up there and change the battery. So I'm going to try to bother my husband because he's tall enough to get to this and do it that way. But yeah. Alright, now here, a lot of this starts with these little stripe thingies. Alright, so this stripe goes this way. And it's a little before here. You got to see where it's gauged at with these stripes. We're going to go up here and down here. Because sometimes your features are presented in different spots. They really are. Alright. Okay, now this. Alright. This I gotta take out this way because I gotta show where there's an area here. So this comes out here and this comes here because there's a small groove that way. And this way goes here. Get all the small areas. If you gotta erase a little, it's alright. Because you're gonna be shading later anyway, so it leaves a little shading. So don't feel bad. Alright, I think I made this a little bit too fat, this arm. So I'm going to have to start this here. I'm gonna have to erase this part now because this is too fat. This light, he doesn't have a cancerous tumor here. Okay. Alright, you just kind of sometimes gotta fix this up. None of us are perfect. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I always cry when I see these homeless dogs and these poor dogs. They're all alone with cancer out there. Their legs got huge and it's the saddest thing ever. I cry in some of these dog videos. I really do. This is some real stuff. I mean, I know some of it my husband says isn't real and some of it is, but the fact that there's dogs out there with cancer all by themselves makes me real sad. And really, there's nothing I could do about it. And there's nothing any of us could do about it. I just hope that somehow they're okay. I mean, that's the hope that I hope. But I don't know. I do. I get all sad. That's why I try to sometimes not to watch Dogs for Family so much, but I did subscribe to them. I subscribe to a lot of people and a lot of things that are scientific. Alright. I had to get this whole arm a lot smaller. Alright, there. See, I had to fix that up. See, now the arm's fixed up. This is how sometimes the process is. Alright, now we're going to try these markings again. Alright, this one's here. And then this one here comes up towards this one to show some dimension. And really these tigers, these little fur spots are showing markers of how he's sitting. You think about it, just like when you draw a human, the way their arm is placed. Same thing with animals. I'm not quite at the human level yet, even though I did Lilith, but and angels could be difficult too. Don't discard that. Oh boy. That's why Lucifer, I feel like Jesus was with me when I was doing that one. Somebody was. Because I did I think I had on one of my things. I had where it was when he was an angel form and the happy Lucifer, not all this crazy Lucifer stuff. And Lilith, I have her with some snakes. It's on my community board. It absolutely is. Alright, now. Alright, I'm waiting I'm still doing questions. I promise I'm doing questions here. Alright, now these little stripes start down this way. So I gotta get this down right. There we go. We gotta get his fur coat ready and all done nice. And we actually are almost done. Somewhat. This is the most tedious part of the process, is right here. Alright. I know they say these are supposed to be right together, but I'm going to separate these a little. Just so to give it a little bit. And curve it. Make sure you curve these. They're supposed to be curved to the way that Tigger is sitting. That is what they're supposed to be doing here. There you go. So we got that one. So you can tell his paw here where he's sitting. And simply that's what you do. And then you got another one that goes up in the middle. So even this one, you want to curve it. I'm going to curve it going opposite. Because everybody has little things they do. Here we go. See? Now we're cooking the gas a little bit here. Right. Now we got this. I'm going to shade out this paw right here. There you go. Shade out the bottom, shade out over here. I'm going to shade out this area. You can tell, yeah, I like to do extra shading. Every sketch artist is different. I like to do the extra shading just so it reinforces the different position. Especially when you have something going on like this where they're up. See, I shaded a little and now it's more defined of the position he's at. So now we got all this part to do. And I'm saying like that's what when you do the whole process, this is a lot of times. It'd be like this sometimes, honestly. Alright, now right here and this bottom part of his face, it comes down for this arm. So I'm going to start bringing this down this way. And you want this because a lot of the stripes are going a different way this way. And we're going to do the striping this way because this is going to be a whole lot easier. Alright, there's a little stripe this way. So we're going to get that constructed right here. Just like that. Alright, and then right in here, we'll do some more stripes. And always make sure you're going, and the way these stripes are is showing you the way he's sitting. That's what, and if you can, when you're sketching and shading, if you can eventually get to where people can see your sitting positions and all that, when you're doing, like, when I did Lilith, I had to get her eyes perfect. I really did. And the way you just do that is just practice your shading. And then and honestly, with eyeballs, what helped me was knowing how to do trees. So, and you kind of got to look and gauge here. Like this other one goes a little bit over this way. But yeah, when you're doing eyeballs, you definitely, if you're doing like somebody's eyes, you definitely want to use pencil. Because even if you are going to do all this other spectacular stuff with your paints and everything, the thing is, it's not going to have that good expressional look. And this is kind of what you want when you're doing different artworks. You want the expression and stuff, and I like doing expressional work. I just think it's more fun, and people seem to like it better. They absolutely do. Alright, and then here, there's one more. And do this here. Because in this piece, where these stripes are, is showing his curves. Just like that. Now we're ready for the face. It's baby steps. Especially with this kind of art. Baby steps. Alright, I'm gonna shade here just to make sure I have this real good. I'm just gonna start with his hand. I think I'm gonna start with the hand. Alright. We are going to, I'm going to start the bottom up with his face. Alright, right where his hands start here, because I already had this bottom part here done. I'm going to go across this way. And you got your markers. And it comes up a little this way. Alright, and over by this here. There we go. Yeah, I'm just going by the markers as I'm starting to construct the face. And it's really, it's all about kind of all the lines that you put together here. Alright, I'm going to start adding the whiskers now. Because I don't want to add the nose till I have the whiskers, because it's just going to be problems if I do it half-ass. So I'm going to go ahead and add these whiskers now. Alright, the whiskers start right here by the ear, and there's 1, 2, and 3. One long one this way. Second one comes out and down. And the third one goes right here. Alright, we're going to do the same one. Same thing over this way. Okay, this was right by the hand area. Alright. I got the whisker there going good. Alright, I'm thinking about adding the nose now. Because the positioning of the nose is very important, my friends. And it's right in this whisker here. And you can put little dots where you need to start it. It's supposed to be literally right next to the whiskers. Like right in here. So we're going to start with the nose. And then it comes all the way down this way. And Tigger has a very big nose. So we're going down with this nose. And you can do a light ones so you can eat rice. Because you're going to constantly be erasing and putting different things. Because I only have this face half constructed here. I just do it in phases. That's it. Alright, now with these, I might have to make the face taller. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Especially this part. That's what's throwing it off. Alright. These come out because the fur's this way. So you're always gauging stuff. So this top part of the face, we are going to just erase. And it's okay to erase. Erasing is okay. It gives you more practice. I mean, sometimes, this is why it's good to use pencil. Because if all this details are not perfect, it's going to look like crap, and people are they're gonna be nice, some of them, but some people are gonna be nice about it, but then some people aren't. They're gonna say that kind of looks like crap. And it's always the people that don't draw that are the worst critics. I will tell you that. So you got to get used to the criticism if you're going to be a sketch artist. Alright, I'm going to get these whiskers in here because these whiskers are very important in centering my face. So we're going to do what you do to one side, you do to the other. It's just like math. I am a lover of math. I think math is my favorite subject, honestly. Alright, got the whiskers in, and we're just going to reconstruct the top of the face. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with it. Alright, we're going to go here, and the ear starts right about here. We're going to go there. And you're gauging the face by facial features. That you are. That's why sometimes you just got to add stuff at different times. And I'm going to shade in his mouth now. I'm just going to finish up over here. And then up in here, there was just a little dip here. There we go. So I'm just finishing up that little dip there. Now we're working on the top part. That's why sometimes these pieces take me so long. Because you got to give them love. So draw things that you like. I'm not a lover of flowers personally, but they're a necessary evil in learning to sketch. I like doing Disney stuff personally. It's one of my favorite things to do. Probably because I'm a Disney nut. I love Disney. I really do. I've seen the new Lilo, and it is pretty awesome. I won't lie. It was pretty awesome. I actually ended up seeing it twice. I got blessed. So I'm gonna start doing these eyes because I feel like I'm gonna have to keep erasing if I don't. So I'm gonna erase this now, this ear, and I'm just gonna start doing these stripes here because I feel like it's gonna be too small. Alright, because this is supposed to come down this way. Nemo was better. Fish are friends. Oh, I like fish. I don't like the sliminess of their skin, but I do like Nemo. Lilo and Stitch, the new Leo and Stitch is nice. I do like the new Lilo and Stitch. And Stranger Things has another season coming. And it's like a whole volume and a finale and stuff. That's going to be exciting. And I guess it's exclusive just to Netflix. So if you have Netflix, I mean that's the good thing to do. I be watching movies because one day I would like to make a movie. That's why I'm really glad about this money because I am going to be publishing my book. And maybe with some luck, I'll get somewhere. Possibly. You're gonna make it or you're not gonna make it in the world. I mean that's just how it is. Alright. Now this goes up. This is where the one eyebrow is. Straight up. And here. So you're in Nemo. I actually, when I went to Disney World, they have a Nemo display at Disney World. And I am going to go there again. Because it's the happiest place on earth. So, it really is the happiest place on earth. I've been there a couple times. I love Disney World. Love it. And everybody tells me to go to Disney World before they close down or there's a rebellion or this or that, and Disney is still going on. But I will be probably planning a vacation doing that very soon. As I told my older son, as he's already been to Florida and all these places, and he went with me 5 times, and he's going to incarceration and seeing Marilyn Manson and all this. So I told him I hated him. And he goes, "Why, Mom?" I go, "Because you know I like Marilyn Manson," but then he'll be asking me for money. It's like, okay. It's like, whatever. So I will be, and it's a rock concert. They have like the rock festival. So that's how they do that around here. We got a whole big rock festival. But I went the one year, and you know what? Maybe I can go see Marilyn Manson in concert another time or somewhere else. I don't know. As I still got to keep my job here. So I just told him I probably got to work. And I probably do, honestly. Because I'd be having to work a lot, so on the weekends. And that's when a lot of this stuff is done. Maybe eventually I'll just, I don't know, leave my job. Maybe eventually. Possibly. Because I guess you can, and then hit to where I actually could tolerate being there through the week, and then I only got to work. I'll have every other weekend off. I love to work. I do. I don't know why. I have been privy to work ever since I was a kid. I just love it. I don't know why I like to work so much, but I like it gives me a sense of being to be able to go to work. And I just like it. I'm one of those people that have $1 million in a bank could still go to work. I feel work gives you discipline and purpose. I really do. And hell, if you work, you don't got to worry about running out of money because I will be working. I'm not going to be running out of money. All right, I got that now. I'm constructing the top of the face. Oh, hi, Udi. How you doing? I'm doing good over here. I'm making me a Tigger for my grandson. All right. Okay, this is yellow inside the ear. All right. So now I'm going to shade the nose a little more here before I start sculpting the eyes. And actually, this is the hardest part of the process. It really is. All right, these two, the eyeballs come here. Disney is very precise about these kind of things when you're doing Disney. There's the eyeballs. It's all about precision with Disney. Alright. Then I gotta here. Shade right here to show where the shading there to show where this is at. I'm gonna shade his hand right in here. So it makes sense and you can see clarification of where it's beginning and ending. See? You gotta shade that out. And then the whiskers are there. Alright, and then this comes up a little bit in here. I got that. And this here. I'm just bringing these two lines up this way more. So I gotta get these eyebrows in and stuff. So right in here, let me get these eyebrows set. Okay. These go this way and out that way. There. It's really pronounced and dark, these here. The black parts of his coat. And this one here crawls around here, so you should start right around here. Comes around this way to there. And then goes this way. Comes down. You make this real dark with your pencil. I already got my little paints out so I can touch paint this up. Alright, then we got that so far. Alright, and then right up here, in the middle here, got his little eyebrows. And it's somewhere in the middle, so one's going this way, and the other one's going that way, right above that one. Alright, so now got a shade in this area. But you got his little stripes here. And I got all my little paint here. But even if you wanted to keep it just like this, you totally could. But I'm not because I'm doing sketch paintings for Owen's room. So I'll be going the whole 9 yards. But you don't have to. If you just want a nice little sketch painting, some people just like it like this. And some of my friends be telling me that they like it just the way that it is that way. So I'll even tell people that I'm okay with that too. Alright, I think I'm good for this process. I gotta make sure I got everything here. We're gonna shade this a little so it doesn't look so terrible. Okay, here we go. There we go. This is where shading comes in. Right there. We just shaded it out. Shading could sometimes do wonders. I'm going to take a picture of this now. Oh, you're welcome. Because I'm going to be posting, I don't know, YouTube. I mean, they recommend most of my stuff, but not all my artwork. But when I posted all three in the different phases, somehow YouTube liked it. So I am going to go ahead and take a picture of this with this one. Me with my two computers. Two computers and a phone. That's how I do my YouTube. I've got issues in my life. Alright. Make sure this came out good. I go to my photos now. Okay. There we go. That's Khalifa. Don't throw my notifications. Hidden Crypt in Egypt. This is called the Most Amazing Top 10. Another one of my subscriptions. I'm one of these people that's subscribed to lots of people. I will. I love watching their little Egypt things and stuff. I'm addicted to things like this. Alright. Hello. I just finished this. So I'm going to be starting the second process. And when I release the video yesterday, I don't think I had enough time to release it. It took me a little break. So, but I'm going to release the one from yesterday, and I have sketching of Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. So this way, now that my art's getting better, you could put a gauge. Now these pastels, I literally dropped all these, but these are master pastels. I'm trying not to drop everything to show you, and they're hard. These are I got soft ones too, but these I like to use for the background. I'm putting in yellow for this background. So, and then I'll show you how to do the rubbing method here. I go in circles, and you can make clouds this way also with the pastels. A lot of professionals do this. This is what Sharon did when she was alive and able to do art. So And I think honestly, when her arms and gave out and she didn't want to get out of bed because she couldn't do art anymore, and I ultimately think that's what killed her. Her will to live was not there. I mean, you do have to have a will to live. You honestly do. I think that's why they always have these dogs that want to live no matter what, because maybe there's one person they are trying to care for in the family. There might be one abuser, but there's someone else they like in that house, or they probably would rather die. And I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I think it's ridiculous when people are mean to their dogs because Chong, I will be honest, he has gotten his collar has come off like 5 times since I've had him walking outside, and he did not run from me. Not once. He stood. He literally sat down and waited for me to put the leash back on. But whenever he does bad things, I cage him. I don't go to the hitting. Yes, I do use a prong collar, but it does not hurt him at all. And he is a very muscular dog. Muscular as he is. And it gets his attention. And honestly, he can get out of it. It's not like it's even tight. He's literally could take off his own prong collar if he wants to. I don't even have it tight. Not at all. I tried to do like where they have where the vibration collars. He didn't give a damn about the vibration. He really did it. At least with the prong collar, when he goes too far, he gets alerted because when you see on my videos, I have him at a distance because he gauges himself as he's going back and forth on our walks. So, as he's gauging himself, that's the way he wants to go. And then he knows that he's going far enough to where he won't be near me, so he comes back. I mean, me and Chong have an agreement. I've never ever hit him, but he knows that I love him. And I make sure he has good food. And honestly, I let him lay in my bed. I gave him his own chair. I've been told by several people that he's spoiled, but I was told when you get a dog, you're their mom or you're their dad. But you treat your own child that way. I guess that's the thing you got to ask yourself. But here we go with this. It's so pretty. I got the background in now. I wanted to make that yellow. And then there's certain parts of him that's yellow, like his belly. So I'm going to put that here. Alright, this I'm just going to rub this way. I start with the lighter colors first, and then as I'm rubbing it in, and then go with the darker ones. Alright, and all these areas here, like his eyes here. Alright, that I just kind of put in there, just kind of colored in, and I'm going to go in circles with this. When you go in circles, I don't know, I think it just looks better when you do it in circles in big areas. And then I'm going to go in here, because then the inside of this ear was yellow too. And this is why Sharon always says that you don't need. Sometimes you just honestly do not need paint. So, alright, all of this here is actually yellow, so we're going to do this here. I'm going to go in circles with this. I'm going to try to keep it away from his nose a little. I'm not so much worried if a little leaks out into the body, even though it's orange. Because we're gonna do because the yellow and the orange will just mix together. Just I'm staying away from the nose right now. All right, and I think I got all the yellow parts now. So we got the yellow parts in. Put my little pastel. All right, we got the yellow parts done now. And this is all you do. You just kind of gauge it. Now his nose is pink. So I have all these different varieties of pink. Because I keep my sets like this. I'm going to go with a hot pink and color this in now. I mean, you could keep it like this too once you get all this colored in nice. You can honestly keep it like this, obviously, so if you wanted to. Alright, got that. Now the pink. Alright, now orange. I'm gonna look because I got all these different oranges. I think I do. Because I want a base because sometimes it mixes together with the paint when you have a nice orange. With the orange paint. I feel everything's better with a nice blend. That's why I prefer painting this way. Alright, I just dropped these before the stream, laugh out loud, because Mr. Charm was on a mission. So some of them broke in half, but that's okay. This is all I use them for anymore, so I rub them into painting, so alright. Alright, we're gonna put all that good stuff right there. And then go around in circles with your finger. Because Sharon says that it's better, your finger is the best thing to use. That's what she says. Because she says that you can gauge everything better, and I guess you can use other stuff when you're rubbing in the pastels to your artwork, but I feel it takes out the human element. So I leave it there, and you can just keep rubbing it in. You see a little access, you just go in circles, and it makes it look translucent and more picturesque, like you are looking literally at a picture. And that's kind of what you want. Because you want the paint and the pastels to kind of all complement each other. You don't want them to not complement each other. Because that's not good. Alright. I'm going to just start taking the spare rubbing stuff here. All my little spare stuff. It'd already be on your finger, so. I think I'm going to grab his tail and get that done. Just all the extra stuff, all the excess you could bring over in other areas. Alright. There we go. Bringing it over here. And we are getting the paint too, so this is not your last. I don't make this my last step. I just don't. Alright, the top of the head and by the ears are orange, so we're just going to go ahead and that here. Because that's where his little stripe over here is. And these I'm just doing straight. There we go. Just blending that in really pretty like that. Just like that. And it's okay if it gets blended in the background a little. I mean, Sometimes it gives a good color scheme. You never know. It gets blended in there because you got the paints coming too. The paints will be on its way. Paints are always on their way. There we go. I don't know. I love pastels. I do like my paints, but pastel work is some of my favorite. I enjoy everything about the pastels. I just think they're so nice. I always take the extra stuff when I'm done rubbing it in and I put it around like a cloud of different colors. So you just have a little orange with yellow. And it just gives it a lot of nice qualities. Because I only had yellow, so now I got a little contrast to my yellow. Because I want that portrait look. How you gonna get a portrait look if you don't have it flowing nice? So I'm gonna go ahead and go through this. I'm gonna put this down. And I'm gonna go ahead and go through this and just get all this rubbed in nice. There you go. He really thin. It looks like he's in deep thought. Mr. Tigger. Maybe he's wondering where Pooh left his honey because he's driving him nuts. Maybe that's what he's thinking. I don't know. But this is the professional way, folks. And I am giving you insider tips. So, there we go. Now we got that far. I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of this now. And then start a little painting. Not a lot though, I just want to do touch-up painting because this looks so pretty. So pretty this looks. Alright. Alright. Take a picture of that. There we go. Now Alright, now I'm gonna go ahead. I'm trying to think here where I want to put my black. Alright, I'm thinking about starting with the yellow. Whenever I have tried to touch up anything with this in dark first, I've had nothing but problems. So I'm going to take this and just brush it in the areas that there is yellow. And I like these bottles here because I feel that... Alright. There we go. Now you guys can see what I'm doing. There you go. I like the acrylic paint because you could still see the lines from when you sketched. Just a FYI. I'm actually doing this whole inside here. That I think it makes it look very vibrant and nice. Alright. You keep all those pretty lines. Just a hint here, a little bit here, like kind of like a layover type of paint. It makes everything look very nice. I just don't want to overdo it. You only need a little touch too. It's not, this paint is, it gives a color that almost looks like mercury. See? I got the yellow parts in. I get this ear done. Ear and ear there. Now I got another little bit of yellow down here. There we go. I got that, and I think these are all the yellow spots. I don't think anything else is yellow. Alright, so I'm gonna just put this in the water. We're done with that. Now, I'm gonna get my orange, and these are just acrylic paints. They're very like a layover. These I do actually recommend these for sketch painting because you want everything to show. So now we're just gonna go ahead and get the body done. Just carefully just go over the edges. And it brings out the pencil and everything. It does a really good job. There we go. Because you want people to be able to see it. And see all your good sketching. Because you spent most of the painting sketching it out. So why wouldn't you want people to see the work you did? There we go. See? Got a half painted. And I'm just using these little acrylic paints after I sketched it with the pastels. If you gotta remember, the pastels were already in here. So we're gonna go ahead and just do the layover all in here. Because the main part of your painting is your sketching, if you think about it. And there's nothing wrong with it. And sometimes you don't want the background so bold. I mean, who wants a bold background? You want to bring out all your artistic work. And I'm going to go over here just so it mixes in with the pastels nicely. And I don't even really need to use black, honestly, because with this layover with all of my shading, it already looks dark. So I might not even need the black. Just maybe a little bit by the eyebrows and whiskers, and that's it. Anyway, get this whole body done this way. And then you just carefully go along because you made this. You gotta remember, you made it. So it's not like you did a step by step. No, you did it. And you can do this anything. You make a pretty flower, paint it in. After you do the pastels, of course, and you're shading with your pencil, because pencil always shows up and it could be very dark. So don't really need to use black paint if you don't really want to with this method. But there we go. I'm just gonna go around the edge here because I'm trying to just bring out of all the stuff I just did. There we got that so far. And you can see where the vibrancy here. Yeah, I was waiting for a question. I could stop at any time when I'm doing. You come on YouTube, you're a streamer, they want you to be streaming something. So I stream my arts and crafts as I'm waiting for questions. Because you can't have music in the background or anything. So keep that in mind for any future streamers in my audience. I thought I'd be the last person that YouTube would want me to be a streamer. Laugh out loud. But here I am. You never know where life's going to bring you. Alright, we're done with the orange, I believe, now. Alright. But I'm waiting for your question, Devin. Thank you for waiting for me. I appreciate you. You're wonderful. I have that there. You're gay, and I've never been with nobody romantically. I just want to know how would men view me romantically. Oh. Well. This would probably be a better question for my husband. He's bisexual. But anyways, I could do reading for you. And I actually do have advice about that area. Laugh out loud. I really honestly do. But anyways, I know that there's LGBT community streamers. They're on YouTube a lot. And they're over here, but I could do a reading for you. An energy reading for your romantic, but maybe for like further advice about that kind of stuff, I would talk to them because he listens to a lot of different streamers that are for the LGBT community, and they are very hip to like a lot of stuff. So that I can tell you. So, but I will do this because this is like outside of my realm, because I have dealt with straight men all my life, and honestly, I only see one part of my husband. I know he's had a life before me, but I don't care about these things personally. So, but I definitely would check out these live streamers, because you're going to need advice about, there's a whole procedure of, it's like a different lifestyle, so. And it really is, and there's just a lot of different things that go on. But anyways, you're in a wanting moon with your romantic life, and this isn't bad. It just means a lot of anxiety and negative feelings are surrounding your whole romantic field. And you know what? That's a lot to deal with, because I've listened to the LGBT community. I listened to a lot of different kind of live streamers, and you guys go through a lot. I thought I went through a lot being autistic and not wanting to leave my house half of the time and keeping focused on one thing, but OMG, I had a whole new respect for the LGBT community when I went ahead and I listened to all these podcasts and stuff with my husband. And I'll tell you one thing they always says is a lot of gay men will make fun of him because they say that there's no such thing as being bisexual. And I absolutely am living proof that there is a bisexual thing because he's with me. And he's had male relationships also. So, obviously there is. But I guess in the community there's a lot of prejudice against it. And you learn these things listening to people. But you're surrounded in your love circle, my friend Devin, with the full moon in Scorpio and a full moon in Aries. The full moon in Scorpio just talks about releasing energy. And the full moon in Aries it just comes when it all comes together and ignites and you let it go. So I'm honestly, from this reading, I'm just picking up that men are just kind of, what I'm picking up honestly is they're kind of confused. The other men. They're not sure if you're ready or not ready. So, and they're kind of afraid to move forth in this whole venture, is what I'm kind of picking up. So maybe you'll get the right person. And it's hard. It's hard because my best friend, she's transsexual. I think it's transsexual. But was born a man, but she feels like she's a woman. I call her the polar bear because she sleeps a lot. I've never seen her or thought of her as a man, even though she was biologically born as a man. Yeah, you can get a read. But she has went through a lot of struggles herself. And I mean a lot. And there are a lot of prejudices out there. So I wouldn't give in to the prejudices. I got a little bit of orange on some of this. I mean, I guess it's hard. And my friend told me that not being a part of the community, I wouldn't understand. And I probably don't understand.